No, I know, but let's take maybe two or three more questions, and then if you've got questions after that, we'll try to answer them on.
Okay, so I'm from the business, so I know when I'm applying to where I apply to, I'm RP. And is that addressed yet? Like, I'm also an engineer, so like, I have to use perspective student. And so like, that's one of the kind of I want to do that, where do I apply? And I guess the easy answer I give them is, I go to the positive more, or like, I don't know if there's a way to address that. Just like if you want to figure out out of state talent, like, that was one of my biggest concerns. I had no clue what I would really do because I'm not just able to handle.
That's a really good question, and one that's what this came upon. That's what we're going to work on. We're going to have, as Dean Wei said, we're going to have both admissions offices work together, so that we can identify, again, where that confusion or branding or communication is. And those two offices will work jointly, whether it's IS&T or whether it's engineering, to make sure that we make that, or try to make that as seamless as possible coming in. So this is another one where I think you can help us by identifying where that confusion lies and where the process failures are, because then we can come back and try to address those issues.
I think another reason I knew where to apply was because I went to like older school as a senior in high school, and I asked and they told me.
Well, this is something that BJ and I have actually spent a lot of time on the last few months, and it's the confusion is caused by the opportunity to tell you the truth. That Omaha engineering students need to apply at UNO in our current system because you're going to get housing and financial aid and health center benefit and use the library and so on at UNO. And we're not going to have any of that go away. We're going to figure out to make changes to the student information system such that it's going to be really clear where an engineering student who wants to live and study in Omaha, how they apply. That's been a big sticking point that all of us have been frustrated.
I'm a junior computer engineering student, and I love my program. But after the English came to UNO, it's easy. So I've heard, in respects to why this is beneficial for us as students here, I've heard a lot of discussion and analyses. I'm just wondering if you can give me 3 straightforward, bullet point answers why this is beneficial for us.
Well, the first answer.
I'm sorry, but it's really fun to hear.
But the first answer is, as I just want to repeat myself, the first answer is nothing changed. So everything you know about your program, that is your undergraduate degree program, nothing changed. So how are you going to change the curriculum?
I appreciate that, but that's not a benefit. I want to know what you're adding. What's the benefit for
I'm
us?
just putting that out as a concept.
It comes down to benefit may not necessarily be for you. If you are in a program that you're happy with, then we have to make sure that you don't change it and you can graduate with a degree that you want. The consideration is, are we creating more opportunities for students that might want more opportunity? Are we creating connections to industries locally that could use students that have a different kind of training other than the one that you want or you're happy with? I mean, those are opportunities that are available to you. Whether you choose to take advantage of them or not, that's a decision that you make based on what you project your needs and interests are in your life. But to bring them to campus and to create opportunities for other students, right? So it's a really hard question of why is it an advantage to you, right?
To us on this campus. So UNO is going to work to become part of the top 5. I heard you say that students the biggest was health meeting thing, and that's because you got to work out. But we're growing opportunities for students here, but at the same time, we're going to take our faculty away so that they'll be split, so that we won't have as much time to talk with them. We're going to add this health meeting that will cause problems in the classroom rather than have the teacher right there ready to answer questions and do that when they're in their office hours when they're supposed to be. And then they can be in the labs, which was the question that was originally lying in the back, that the teacher won't be there and the TA doesn't have all the information to help with all the labs. We need our infrastructure there. And that was also a question that was never fully addressed. So there's not a lot of benefit and there's a lot of benefits for us. So it's not how you're thinking.
Okay, we're going to need to spend time separately, because the premise, I actually disagree with the premise of every single one of your disadvantages, and it would take too long to go through every single one of them.
I would love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, we can set up a time.
We only got one more question, so.
Well, it's somebody we haven't heard from yet.
Lucas, I don't think you've heard from Lucas.
You weren't here for that, Johnny.
You mentioned tuition cap.
Well, that's a state government budget.
The elected board of regents and the governor legislature created an agreement this year such that in return for a small increase in the appropriated base budget of the university, the money that comes from the state's general fund, in exchange for a small increase there, all 4 campuses of the university agreed not to raise our tuition rates during the 2 years of this budget. That's, I think, it's happening.
2 years.
Wait, that's the specific agreement that essentially the governor, the legislature, and the board of regents made. That kind of thing usually is happening all over the country, and I guess depending upon your perspective, I think it's a really good trend. It's a signal that states are deciding once again that college education isn't just an individual good. It doesn't just advantage you, but it's a common good as well. So there should be some common investment underneath those things.
I guess what I would,
So it's a 2-year thing, but it's an interesting question. What the board of regents and the legislature will do in the future.
You think of 30 extra faculty over the course of, what is the plan, 2 years, 3 years? 5 years. Let's just say 30 extra faculty, engineering faculty, which you're looking at 6 figures for a professor usually, I'm assuming, especially if you want them to do research. So over the course of 3 years, you're getting close to $10 million just for their salary, not including their health, not including their incentives to come here, their signing bonuses, whatever else you give them. So and that's just 3
All the
years.
faculty are wondering where they're signing on.
Well, you said you wanted to bring in this all-star, you said you want to bring in all-star international powerhouses to come in here and help us with our research, which is awesome.
Actually, I didn't
But
say
they're not
that.
cheap. Well, in the past, I've seen that. Maybe it wasn't you.
No good employee is cheap in any industry.
Okay, then my next thing is 100,000 square feet. Where is this money coming from? Have you already secured the funds for this new plan? And then if not, after the 2 years cap, how much is it going to raise the tuition to pay for these plans? And those are the kind of things that I'm concerned about the future students coming here.
let me respond really quickly, and then we'll need to, we're already 15 minutes over. I would say to any of you who still have questions, you can get my email, Ellen's email, Tim's email, phone number, Rasham's email, phone number, and we will try to answer every single one of your questions. To your point, these are biannual budgets. The governor and the legislature indicate how many dollars they're going to give to the University of Nebraska. The Board of Regents determines how those dollars are allocated and what, if any, tuition increase is tied to that budget. So those are variables that are determined by elected representatives in the state of Nebraska. We can't guarantee you anything beyond the biennium as to what the tuition rate will be, what the university budget will be, at least the state-supported university budget will be. I agree with Ellen. I can tell you that our Board of Regents care a lot about access, and they care a lot about affordability. They also care about quality, and they care about the institution's ability to meet its missions. So those are all, we can't tell you what that will be. I can tell you that if you look at the last 5 years before this 2 years, those tuition increases were in that 3, 4, 5% range. The next 2 years, they're flat. What they will be 2 years after that, I can't tell you. I can tell you that, at least at UNO, it's a little different at UNL, about a third of the budget comes from tuition income. About a third of the budget comes from state appropriations. About a third comes from everything else. Okay, in Lincoln, it's a different ratio. I can go into great detail about what the trend line has been over 10 or 15 years. What I can tell you is, again, the board's very committed to try as best they can, as is the president of the university, to try to keep the tuition costs at least competitive and more competitive than it would be with them.
Last thing, the $1.5 billion gap between us and the bottom, $1.5 billion endowment gap, for the entire university system, we still don't have the same endowment as just the bottom of the Big Ten, as far as before they added the last two.
Well, those are all.
So how we want to compete with these people, yet the lowest endowment in the Big Ten is above $3 billion. And we, as an entire system, not just one campus, only have 1.5 around the last I looked. So once again, I like all these plans to improve things, but how come there hasn't been a feasibility? Like, where are the numbers? Where are we going to get that kind of money? And you say 1/3 of it comes from students. So that's a pretty big hike if we're going to try to reach the bottom of the Big Ten, is what I'm trying to
I
say.
think you're confusing foundation dollars and state appropriations. But
Well, that's not even besides their state appropriations.
Well, if you want to have a conversation about this, I'm happy to do it. Ellen's happy to do it.
I just don't see how you can't raise the tuition a lot more than it is now. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we don't
Wondering why.
recognize you can't put this on the back of students.
I think that era is over. I think that era is over nationally, where we can just continue to price tuition to meet costs. Lincoln has already made $10 million investment in the College of Engineering in the last 2 years. None of that was new money. All of that was money that was reallocated from some other purpose on campus to the College of Engineering. A lot of that will keep happening. I think that will happen at the system level too. I think new money that comes from the president of the university to the College of Engineering or the College of ICT comes from some other money. So that it won't be the sole solution, but we do exactly what business does. When we have a higher priority, we take money away from what have to become lower priority and spend it on higher priority. We've been doing that for 2 decades. But if we don't declare an ambitious goal, I can guarantee that won't meet it.
And this is also to old bridges and all that, this is why we as a college, a lot of what you're talking about is just, it's not the high, in control. But we have an obligation as a college to be as efficient as we possibly can with what we have, and still try to offer you more and better programs.
Just like any business would.
I would like to thank all of the students, particularly for coming today. It's also good to see faculty and staff, but I really appreciate having all of you here today. Again, if you've got questions, please let us know.